So what is going on with the Boston Celtics this year? They had some high aspirations, still trying to compete for an Eastern Conference title. Something that they've been close to in 2018. They were one game away from beating the Cavs and going to the finals with a rookie Jason Tatum. That didn't really work out. The next year was the Kyrie Irving year, the full Kyrie Irving year, because the year prior he was out for the playoffs and Gordon Hayward was out. Gordon Hayward did not have a good rehab year, and then Kyrie Irving ended up kind of having some locker room stuff after he said he was going to commit to the Celtics long term, and then they ended up losing to the Bucks. The following year, Kyrie Irving is gone. He joins the Brooklyn Nets, and then the Celtics end up losing to the Miami Heat in the conference finals. And here we are this season where the Boston Celtics have started off the year with, you can see it, a 15-17 record. They have been very disappointing to start the year, to say the least. Now, there's maybe a bunch of things that could be wrong with that, and we're going to be talking about what's wrong with them today. So what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Yeah, this video is really just going to pertain to the Boston Celtics here, what's going wrong, what they can do to fix this team, and yeah, maybe what they should do going forward. So the big thing that happened in the offseason, well, the biggest thing draft-wise, they ended up with Aaron Nesmith with the 14th overall pick. I was a fan of that pick. If they were to keep Gordon Hayward, now Gordon Hayward ended up leaving. There's really nothing you could do. If he wanted to leave, he wanted to leave. There was the whole they can get Miles Turner thing. That fell through, and they got what they could. They got the trade exception for Gordon Hayward, and we'll get to the trade exception in a little bit. Gordon Hayward's having a great year in Charlotte, and the Celtics are realizing how important he was to that team. Yes, the stars of this team are Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker is the name value where he's probably going to be the number 3 scorer on this team no matter what. But wow, the Celtics are missing Gordon Hayward's playmaking and what he was to that team last year. Massively, what this guy can do, even if he came off the bench. He's going to be efficient for you. He's going to be a great playmaker. He's going to be smart with the basketball. He's going to find open teammates, and he was just a perfect piece next to Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And he was playing like a borderline bubble all-star last year in the beginning of the year for the Celtics. Obviously, he opts out of his deal, bets on himself, and got paid by the Hornets. Good for Gordon Hayward. Now, the Celtics are massively missing him because Tatum is having a fine year, Jaylen Brown having a career year. Kemba Walker has been disappointing, to say the least. He's only played 16 games this year. He struggled mightily when he came back from his injury. It's been somewhat better as of late, but still has not been the $30 million point guard they invested into when they signed him in the 2019 offseason. Not whatsoever. Charlotte, moved on from Kemba, and they're doing a little bit better with Gordon Hayward, it seems. So Kemba maybe isn't looking like the answer to this team that they needed. But either way, they did fine with Kemba last year. You have Marcus Smart, who really hasn't been as good on the offensive end as you'd want him to be. He's been a below-average three-point shooter, below-average just overall from the field shooter, and really hasn't been shooting all that well from the line. But what he does on the defensive side of the ball, that can be excused, and he's a good playmaker as well. He's actually averaging the most assists on the Celtics team. But when you get past those 4 players, now, you have their centers in Tristan Thompson and Daniel Tice. I don't think Tristan Thompson's really having all that good of a year, but I think Daniel Tice is a serviceable center. He can be their starting center going into the playoffs if they had a more well-balanced team, like last year with Gordon Hayward and a playmaker that is as good as he is. Because I don't think center is the huge problem that they need to fix. Yeah, they can use an upgraded center. A lot of teams can use an upgraded center. Would this team love a Capella? Probably. Would this team enjoy Steven Adams? I don't know how much more than a Daniel Tice, right? Or even an Andre Drummond in that fact. Yeah, they could probably use a Miles Turner just for their defensive rim protecting area, but Tice has not been all that bad this year. I think he's been serviceable, 100% serviceable. Obviously, he's not a top 10 center, so they could use a top 10 center, but I don't think that's the biggest need for them is looking at upgrading their starting 5. I think it's really just getting a bench and playmaking, because you're looking out of those top 4 guys. Obviously, you're not looking at Daniel Tice or Tristan Thompson for playmaking, so those guys are excused. And the top 4 guys I already mentioned, who are you getting your playmaking out of? Jeff Teague has not had a good year whatsoever. Peyton Pritchard, you're really going to X a lot out of a player you took in the back end of the first round in his rookie year to be your step-up 6-man playmaker. Probably not going to work out in most cases. As he's 23, he's more mature, he's not a normal rookie. But you're asking a lot out of somebody that was taken in the late part of the first round to be your 5th best playmaker. That's a lot to ask. That really is. And he could be that down the line, but it's a lot to ask for him this year. You're not getting a lot of playmaking out of Robert Williams, obviously, because of his position. Semi Ojeleye, he's been there for a while. We already know what he is. He's a solid defender, but he's not really anything much on the offensive end. Carson Edwards, I mean, he's shooting a little bit better from the field this year, but he doesn't really play enough where it's like, all right, you're relying on Carson Edwards. Grant Williams, same thing as Robert Williams and the bigs. Javonte Green, we know the story. Aaron Nesmith, I feel like they're misusing him a lot. They're not really even playing him a lot. 16 minutes a night when you have like Jeff Teague playing a little bit more. And has Jeff Teague been really that much better? Has Semi Ojeleye been that much better? I don't know. You're drafting these guys in the lottery. Why don't you use them, right? Yeah, they could maybe use a Precious Achiuwa, or maybe they would enjoy an Emmanuel Quickly or a Tyrese Maxey on this team. Yeah, like getting a playmaker could help. But if you're going to draft somebody who's one of the best shooters in the class, you might as well use him a little bit more, right? Like, run the second unit through this guy. See if he's for real. I mean, he's shooting well from three to start off his career. You can see on your screen 36% from three on 2.8 attempts a night. Not bad whatsoever. But it's just like this core down, like looking at playmakers, Peyton Pritchard, Jeff Teague, Semi Ojeleye, Carson Edwards, Javonte Green, Aaron Nesmith, Tremont Waters. You're not going to get a lot out of that. Romeo Langford's been hurt this year. That's looking like not really a great pick at 14. Okay, so that's pretty much, I think, what's going wrong with the Celtics. Their bench is not where it needs to be, and I think they need another playmaker. Because you're looking at we could look at by assist, right? Like Tatum, Kemba, Brown, they're going to get their assists with their usage. Tremont Waters, honestly, that's pretty good per 36 assists per 10 minutes a night. But like, you're getting your, like, Marcus Smart, 6.1 assists, but there should be somebody in front of Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker. I'm not saying assists are the be-all, end-all statistic here, but you just need somebody that can kind of gain respect from the defense and set up guys on maybe even just the second unit. Like, set up Aaron Nesmith, set up, I don't know, Peyton Pritchard, set up the Williamses when they're in the game, or Tristan Thompson. And I don't know what that is going to be at the deadline. I don't think they need to use their trade exception on a big, because what bigs are you going out and getting? Are you getting an Andre Drummond? Is he really going to make you that much better? Probably not. I think it's a wing. I think they need a playmaking wing. Harrison Barnes has been brought up a lot, but it's like, is Harrison Barnes really going to help their troubles? Yes, they can use a nice offensive spark off the bench. I mean, like, he is having a better year. I just think there could be some better options out there than Harrison Barnes. I mean, like, obviously there's better players out there that they could probably try to get, but really, are they going to be on the market? I mean, I think you use the trade exception on Harrison Barnes. The only thing about him is his contract runs a little bit longer. It's 2 more years after this year. But I said about this with the Sixers, right? And that they should go after Kyle Lowry, even if it means up giving up Matisse Thybulle, because you might only get Lowry for a year or two. Who cares if you win a championship? The Raptors sacrificed their franchise player DeMar DeRozan, who was beloved by the city. He loved the team, and he was traded for 1 year of Kawhi Leonard. And you know what? It won them a championship. And I'm not saying Harrison Barnes or Kyle Lowry is the Kawhi Leonard, but the Sixers and Celtics, they have good enough star players with Embiid, Harris, and Simmons, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to possibly win a championship. They do. Like, I'm not saying they're the favorites, but why not now? Like, we've been saying, like, the Celtics were always like, they never wanted to trade their picks for Paul George or Jimmy Butler, any of those guys when they were available on the trade market, because they just wanted to save them and see what they could become. But why? Why not? Why not go all in? Like, you can't just keep waiting around and waiting around and waiting around, because it's not going to end well. It's just really not. It doesn't really happen a lot. It happens when the teams that go out and get their stud. When the Lakers, they didn't play around. They went out. They got Anthony Davis. The Clippers, they didn't wait around. They knew they can get Kawhi Leonard, so they went out and they mortgaged the future for Paul George. And now they're one of the best teams in the NBA. The Jazz, they didn't wait around. They got Bojan Bogdanovic. They got Mike Conley. And now look at them. They're the best team in the NBA this year. The Sixers, they went out. They got Jimmy Butler. Okay, didn't work out. They got Tobias Harris, though. And for them, why not go the extra step? You can acquire Kyle Lowry. Go get him. But back to the Celtics. Harrison Barnes is somebody that they could definitely look at. I have seen some Kelly Oubre rumors as well, and he could be a somewhat playmaker, but I think I like the Harrison Barnes option a little bit more. But I could definitely see the Warriors, like, they're in probably no position to re-sign him in the offseason, so maybe they'd be willing to trade him here at the deadline. I mean, you could look at Otto Porter, but he's currently hurt. He's on an expiring deal, but it's like, who do you want to use this trade exception on? You know what? It wouldn't even be crazy if they traded for Kyle Lowry. Now, the trade exception is what? It's like around 23 mil, give or take. It could be 25, could be 21. Kyle Lowry's contract sits at what? Like around 30, correct? His contract is at 30 mil. All right, so You got to get about $5 more in there. That is definitely possible when you can probably throw in like Tristan Thompson just to make the money work. But what does Kyle Lowry do that doesn't help your team? He gets you a guy that gives you championship experience, good defense, good three-point shooting, and just smart basketball play. And you know what? A great playmaker, something else they need. Now, maybe Kyle Lowry isn't the answer to this team because they already have Kemba Walker, and that might be too much, and definitely so. But they could go out and get a guy like that, and I think that's how they can improve their team going forward. Like, what's stopping them from Thompson and the exception, and then maybe they like Romeo Langford in a first. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm just throwing out random ideas here with Kyle Lowry being possibly on the market. Like, you look at like Jordan Clarkson and how he's like changed this Jazz team completely. And that was a great trade by them, and he's having a career year. And look at them. They're the 1 seed. I just think the Celtics have to make a move. You are 15-17, and you are way too talented to be in this pack with the Knicks, worse than the Hornets, worse than the Bulls. It's just like 2 games better than the Magic. You're just way better than that. The Celtics are way better than that, and they need to make a trade. If they do not make a trade, I'm losing faith in Danny Ainge. Apparently, my friend was telling me that they were trying to trade Kemba Walker in the offseason because he knew he had a bad knee or something. But I don't know how true that is. But Danny Ainge, you need to make a move. Is it going to be Harrison Barnes? Maybe. Is there another wing out there that I definitely don't know of that could possibly get traded? Yeah, 100%. I don't know. You could look at like I don't think Blake Griffin's the answer, but you look at some of these teams. Like, I mean, Nikola Vucevic, like I said, center isn't the biggest need, but he'll give you playmaking and someone that the defense respects. And but like, I don't think he's really the answer. But Aaron Gordon, maybe go out and get him. Go out and get Evan Fournier. Like, why not Evan Fournier on this team? And he could just be somebody that the defense can respect. He's going to provide you good scoring, good 3-point shooting, and you know what? He's a solid playmaker. Boom. Go out, get Evan Fournier. He's an expiring contract. Honestly, the Magic would probably be willing to trade him for where they are in the season and acquire an asset. I'm sure they would do Romeo Langford because you could do the trade exception. You could do Romeo Langford and a first. I'm sure they would accept that. Or maybe even Aaron Nesmith straight up. I'm sure the Celtics wouldn't want to do that, but still, go out, get somebody like that. Now you could look like maybe in the bottom of the West. I don't know if there's any other players, like somebody on the Rockets, like, I mean, Oladipo would be nice, but I don't think they would go after Oladipo. Like Buddy Hield as well. Maybe you go out and get Buddy Hield. I'm just throwing out it. Like, I'm not saying like a JJ Redick, but yeah, just make a trade, Boston. I think they need to make a trade, and if they don't, man, I don't really know because Brad Stevens has not done a great job coaching this team, but I think this team could definitely be better, and I think this is more on Danny Ainge than it is on Brad Stevens. So yeah, that is going to be for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think the Celtics should do going forward because they've been massively disappointing this year, and I think they need to make a trade. I know we throw a trade like it's like so easy to do and it's like a video game. It's not, but I think the Celtics have to make a trade because this team is nowhere near being a top 3 team in the East. Like the Sixers, Nets, and even the Bucks, I think are not miles better, but serviceably better that I would not even think that the Celtics could beat them in a 7-game series at this point. Go out, you make a move. I think it should happen. So let me know what you think the Celtics should do down below. Let me know if you guys enjoy these talk videos on kind of like current events in the NBA, like the Celtics are a big thing on what's going on, or maybe like something with the Mavericks we could do. I don't know. Just like if you guys like enjoy these NBA style videos, drop a thumbs up. Let me know if you enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.